feel alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future, and life. Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside. Bringing hope and make you feel
Let's share this to our
alright.
friends.
Rainbow, the promise, the future, and life. Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world.
Baba, thanks for joining. Let's share this live to our friends.
Let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside.
Hello, Kaji Muhammad. African Auntie, I see you. Mikael, thanks for joining. Akua. I see you, user 606. Girls, thanks for joining. Rebana Girls, thank you for joining our crew. Miss Bless, thank you.
The future and life. Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside. Bringing hope and make you feel alright. Rainbow, the promise, the future, and life. Love is light that's within me, shine to the whole world, whole world. Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside.
Hello. Maybe when we reach 1,000 likes, I could start. Fari, thanks for joining. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah.
Let it light that's within me shine to the whole world.
Thank you so much for the hot me.
Light, let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love.
Okay. Hello, everybody out there. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to Insight with FunmiRoyal this beautiful evening. It's a Thursday, nearly the weekend. I'm excited. How about you? How has your week been? I hope it's been good so far. We thank God. So guys, here's what I'll do again today. I'm going to take a few worship songs, and whilst I'm doing that, I'm going to wait on you guys to join in to help share the live to your friends, your followers. You know, let's invite many people that we can, as many that we can today, because today I always talk about marriages and relationships on Thursday, and today it's very interesting. I will tell you the topic soon. So I'm just gonna take a few worship songs whilst I wait on you lot to invite everyone, like the live, share to your friends, and let's enjoy Inside today. Devi, I see you. Deboli, I see you. Gladius, thank you guys for joining. So let us go into that. So let's share the live to others. Let's invite as many people as possible. My God is good all the time. I am a witness. When we lift up our hands, it is an offering to you. And in liberty we worship and praise. When we lift up our hands, it is an offering to you. And a liberty you deserve the lifting of my hands to you. You deserve the lifting of my hands. Oh, when we lift up our hands, it is an offering to you. Let's share it. And in liberty we worship and praise. When we lift up our hands, it is an offering to you. And in liberty we worship and praise. You deserve the lifting of my hands to you. You deserve the lifting of my hands. You deserve the lifting of my hands to you. You deserve the lifting of my hands. Oh yeah, how I love calling that name, sweet, sweet name every day. Your name is the same. How I love calling that name every day, every day. Your name is the same. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, sweet, sweet Jesus, Jesus. How I love calling that name. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, lily of the valley, Jesus, every day, every day. Your name is the same. How I love calling that name every day, every day. Your name is the same. How I love calling your name every day, every day. Your name is the same. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, lily of the valley, Jesus. How I love calling that name. Oh, Jesus, Jesus, sweet, sweet Jesus, Jesus, every day, every day. Your name is the same. How I love calling that name every day, every day. Your name is the same. How I love calling your name every day, every day. Your name is the same. I'll say you are the love of my life. Jesus, you are the hope that I cling to. You mean more than this world to me. I wouldn't trade you for silver or gold. No, no, I wouldn't trade you for riches untold. You are, yes, you are. You are my everything. You are, yes, you are. You are my everything. You are the love of my life. You are the hope that I cling to. You mean more than this world to me. I wouldn't trade you for silver or gold. No, no, I wouldn't trade you for riches untold. Yeah, you are my everything. You are my everything. He is my everything. Oh, bless the Lord, oh my soul. Oh, my soul. I worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I will worship your holy name. Bless the Lord, oh my soul. Oh, my soul, worship His holy name. Sing like never before. Oh, my soul, I will worship your holy name. I will worship your holy name. I will worship your holy name. Oh, worship, I will worship your holy name. Hallelujah. Amazing, amazing. Thank you guys so much for joining Insight with FunmiRoyal today. Thank God for today, like I said. We give Him all the praise. Thank you guys so much. You always make the difference. I mean, without you here, I'll just be someone who's just, talking and talking. So thank you guys for always joining in. And I really, really, really appreciate everyone. Welcome to Insight with FunmiRoyal this day. So I will be going straight into my talk, and please share the live to your friends. Today we're talking again on marriage, and the topic today is how can I maintain new wine in my marriage? I'm not saying get drunk with wine. It means I'll let you know in a few seconds. So please invite other people to share. I see everyone joining in. Thank you so much. I see you, D Mini. I see you. Thank you guys for joining. How can I maintain new wine in my marriage? That is the topic today. And like I would say, marriage is a good thing. The Lord knows it's meant to be a good thing, and that's why He created it. God He doesn't just create anything for creating's sake. He created man, He created woman, He created the firmament, the sea, He created the heavens and the earth. He created all these things for a reason, and some of that we know. And I will tell people, if you're not sure about anything, make sure you make heaven so you can ask God directly these questions. You know, he'll be able to answer you. That's why I don't have all the answers. But I will share with us today as I go into this talk. Please, if you know someone who's going through a rocky patch in their marriage relationships, please ask them to come and be part of this talk today. They might just learn one or two things. And as usual, like I said, I don't know it all. I want to hear from you as well. And don't forget, in about 45 minutes, I will bring my puzzle. I always bring a puzzle just to make it fun. You know, when we do all the serious talk and all that, let's cool down a bit. So I have my puzzle, and let's see whether somebody's going to get it today. I will throw in a donut and 2 ice cream if you get my puzzle right when the time is right. So I will go straight into the talk today. How can I maintain new wine in my marriage? I'll mention a few bits, talk about it, and I want to hear from you. You can tap in there, or when the time is right, I'll bring you up. I want to hear your views. How do you think we can in this 21st century? Because marriages are still happening. People are still going to the registry. People are still saying, I do. At the same time, on the other hand, people are getting divorced as well. People are getting separated. So why? The reason we're here is to help us mend that broken marriage. Help us mend that broken relationship, because I believe in second and third and fourth chances. We can make it work. So let's go into the talk today. How can I maintain new wine in my marriage? So the word or the phrase new wine, it symbolizes freshness. It symbolizes renewal and joy. Maintaining new wine, quote and unquote, in marriage means keeping the relationship vibrant, exciting, and full of life. You know, if you're not careful, if you just let things slide, you know, you might just start growing apart. We don't want that. You're supposed to grow together, bond together, connect together on all levels at every season in your marriage. So, a new wine is meant to help you keep that relationship going, keep it vibrant, exciting, and full of life. It's about continually nurturing the bond to ensure it remains strong and fulfilling over the years. You and I know it's till death do us part if it's a healthy relationship, okay? Let's balance it. If it's a healthy relationship, we need to work at it. Even the one that is not healthy as such can be worked at if the couples are ready to do the work. So it takes two to tango, really. So one of the ways we can maintain new wine in our relationship, in our marriage relationship, is this. I would always talk about, always the number one, or always in my talk, is communication. If there's no communication, the marriage will break down. It will break down. People will grow apart. Couples will grow apart. So communication in a marriage relationship is like the lifeblood of a marriage. You can't do without it. And not just communication, it has to be open and honest communication, open and honest dialogue. Regularly share your thoughts with your spouse, your feelings, your aspirations, share with one another. And again, guys, we have to be transparent in order to foster trust and also deepen that connection. Okay, if you're not transparent, your spouse can't tell whether you're going or coming. It will create problem. Maybe the first, second time they would understand. And as time goes on, it's like you're doing your thing and they're just wondering, am I still in a relationship with you? Or, you know, everyone just doing their thing. So we need to be open and honest in our talk. Whatever you're feeling, share with your spouse. That's why they're there. They're there to share your good, the bad, the ugly, as I would say. So don't leave out anything except you're hiding something. And you know that whenever you hide something, it's only for a short period of time, it's going to come out in the open. And then it might be disaster, you know, then. So share with them, whether you've made mistakes or whatever it is, share with your spouse. Of course, they might not be happy from initially. But as time goes on, they have this love for you. They will just understand. Zini, thank you so much for joining. Zini, do me a favor and share to about 20 people to be part of this live today. And again, when you're talking about communication, you have to balance active listening. When your spouse is talking, are you actively listening, or you're just listening to bounce back and shout back and fight back and all that? No, you have to actively listen to what your spouse is saying. Okay, give your partner full attention when they're speaking. Show empathy, try to understand what are they saying, and please avoid interrupting, because they're trying to make a point. They're trying to help you see reason with what they're saying, and you're just interrupting and all of that. It will just create chaos, arguments, disagreements, and if that escalates, it will be something else. So always be listening actively to what they're saying. Avoid interrupting them. Let them finish with whatever they're saying, and then think about it. Be empathic towards them. Reason along, try to see from their perspective and reason. That's the only way, they know that you really care about them and you understand what they're trying to say. Fine, you might have a difference of opinion, but try to understand where they're coming from first. Mimi, thanks for joining. And again, when you talk about communication, I'll mention again, resolve conflicts constructively. Conflicts will never stop coming. It's not a curse, it's just part of the package. When you're into marriage relationship, how can I maintain new wine in my marriage? Resolve conflicts constructively, effectively. So approach disagreement with a willingness to understand and resolve rather than to win. Some spouse, they can't wait to say, I told you so, I told you so, you didn't listen to me, and all of that. Okay, now there's another conflict, and you're just the one, please, let's calm down. Because another conflict is coming on the way. If you don't handle this correctly, and it lingers on, and another conflict, and it goes on and on. Bishop, thanks for joining. So don't try to win in that conflict. Don't try to win. Try to understand so you can resolve things constructively. That is the most effective way you can communicate with one another. So another way we can, maintain new wine in our marriage relationship is quality time together. Thank you, user 63. I see you. Quality time together. We know the world is chaotic at the moment. Husband, some husbands are even doing 2 jobs, wife doing jobs, the children, school work, all of that. The chaos of life. Kelechi, thanks for joining. It's just so much, but you still need to find time to spend with one another. Regular date nights. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. It doesn't have to be anything too elaborate. Of course, once in a while you could do that, maybe on your anniversary or your birthdays or what have you. You can do that. So set aside time just for the two of you, especially those with children. Because everywhere you go, you see the children. Before you turn here, you see the children. No, please find time for your spouse alone. Just go on a you and I date time, walk time, something, So whether it's fancy dinner, like I said, a walk in the park, or a movie night, it is priority. As you're making other things priority in your life, how can you maintain new wine? How can you make this relationship, ticking and keep going? You need to spend time with one another. Organize small outings, organize time together, activities you can do together or whatever. Shared activities and hobbies, things when you were dating or courting. Sophie, I see you. You guys will do those things, those activities. I still think today, I said, the other time, I'm thinking in my head, maybe I should ask my husband, we should go bungee jumping. I don't want to chase him out of the house because I don't know if he'll be up for that. I've always thought about going bungee jumping. I don't know if I can hack it, but it's always a dream of mine. Maybe I can persuade him. Maybe he'll be the one to take me. I don't know. Anyway, that aside. So what do you like to do with your spouse? What are the things you used to do together that just makes you laugh, to be happy, and you stop doing them maybe over the years even? Why not revisit such things? Teleloni, I see you. Ethiopia, thanks for joining. So like I said, it could be a walk in the park, a movie night. Just make time out for one another and make it priority. No children this time around. We love you children, but me and my husband, we need this time out together. It's very important. Okay, engage in activities that both of you would enjoy. This is not only to strengthen your bond, but also to create shared memories. Take pictures, photos. I love to take photos. Just take pictures. You can show your children later on or grandchildren later on. Oh, I was once a damsel, Don't think I'm just old all of a sudden. I'm just old. You have memories, to look back on, especially when you're feeling not too good. Just bring out those pictures and it will kind of elevate your spirit, so to say. So again, when you're talking about maintaining a new one in your marriage, about quality time, travel together. When last did you travel with your spouse? Just your spouse. I'm not saying with children now. Like I said, we love you children, but when last did you travel with your husband? When last did you travel with your wife? Just the two of you in the car, drive 3 hours or go on a flight or whatever it is, just the two of you. It's always good to help maintain that bond, that love and all of that. So explore new places and experiences together. Like I said, I really love to go bungee jumping, but I don't know about maybe Mr. will go with me. I don't know. Traveling can bring fresh perspective and excitement into your relationship, and it's necessary, really. You don't even have to book a flight. You can drive. It depends on where you live. You can drive maybe 4 cities away or something. Just go, both of you. Spend the night together outside of home or spend the weekend away or something, just to help you guys bond and catch up on a lot of things, because the hustling and bustling of life will never stop. Faith Osula, I see you. Thanks for joining. Another way to maintain that new one in your marriage, that excitement in your marriage, is continuous growth and learning, personal development. Encourage each other to pursue personal goals and interests. A growing individual makes a relationship richer. Because if one is just growing and aspiring and growing and all of that, and the other person feels left out, or they feel they're not being supported and they're struggling and you're just going, imagine that gap. That gap is like, we need to close it up. So be interested in your spouse. What are they doing in their career, in their personal development? Just be a source of encouragement. Sometimes you don't even need to do much. Just say, you know what, I'm rooting for you. I believe in you. You can do this. That's all they need to know, that, you're thinking about them. So learning together as well. Take up a new hobby. You both can book a cooking lesson or swimming lesson or tennis activity or whatever it is. Book some activities together that you can do together. You can learn something new together, and when you share that experience, is always so amazing. Could be taking up a cuisine or a talking class or a dance class. Some people are, maybe bingo soon. I don't know. Shared learning and experiences can be very bonding. Will bond you together. You never know your spouse. Oh, so you really like this activity? I never knew. There you go. So think of new ways you can do stuff together. It's always good for bonding and inventing yourself, if I can put it that way. So another way is affection and intimacy. This one, I'll just touch on it briefly because it should be a new a topic on its own. Omotayo, I see you. Thanks for joining. Let's share the live to our friends. Affection and intimacy in a marriage relationship. Of course, this is like the fuel. Physical affection, small gestures like holding hands, hugs, and kisses can significantly enhance that intimacy. And I share this with you. I think I've shared it here once or maybe on a friend's live. Many years back, I had to go to this couples retreat with my husband. And there was this segment of the program, Girls, I See You. I was meant to anchor with one other lady. So it's one of the icebreakers for the evening. And then, so what we're meant to do is we will call out 3 ladies, we'll blindfold the ladies, and then we'll call out their husbands, and they will, with a touch of hand, these ladies are meant to know who their husband is, you know. So I'm like, oh wow. And then we were put on the spot. I was put on the spot. So the leader at that retreat now said, you know what, since there's two of you, we'll just ask one more person to join you. I'm like, oh my God, this is a test of a lifetime even. I'm like, oh my God. So if you're the type that you don't know what your husband's hands feel like or your wife's hand feels like, shame, shame, shame. Just teasing. But if she's sitting next to you or sitting next to him now, touch their hands, feel it. Is it soft? Is it hard? Is it in between? What does it feel like? Anyway, back to the couples retreat. So they got a blindfold. I was blindfolded. The other two ladies, they were both blindfolded as well. And they brought out our husband. So we had to be touching to feel who our husband was at the time, you know. And in my heart, I'm like, hey, Lord, help me, please. So I touched and I held somebody. They said, are you sure this is your husband? I said, I think so. But in my heart, I'm like, hey, I think so. I'm not sure, but it feels like, you know. And then the other two ladies did that. There was one particular lady, she actually held two people. Okay, she held two people. She thought she was holding one person, but she held two men, and the other third person held one person. So by the time they removed the blindfold, oh my God, I said, thank you, Jesus. At least I was holding my husband. This other lady holding the two men, they were not the husband at all. In fact, she neglected the husband altogether, and the third lady got the husband as well. Come and see the laugh in the room. But it goes beyond that, just touching and feeling. If I were to do that to you, husband right there, or wife out there, if I blindfolded you and I brought three ladies, can you identify with the touch of the palm who your wife is? Food for thought. So, affection and intimacy, holding hands, hugs, and kisses can help put new wine into that relationship. When last did you kiss your spouse for like 5 minutes non-stop? Yes. Yeah, it's a challenge now. 5 minutes non-stop. Whether you're angry with them or you're upset with them, they're still your husband, they're still your wife. Try that tonight before you guys go to sleep. No matter how busy it gets, find 5 minutes tonight and, you know, kiss for 5 minutes, if I may say that. Then romantic gestures, surprise your partner with acts of love, like writing. In fact, even me, I'm guilty. You know, you do these things maybe in another year before you even think to do it, or 2 years past. Life happens, I know, but we have to be deliberate about these things. Romantic gesture, giving thoughtful gifts, or planning a surprise outing. Your spouse will love that. There's no spouse that wouldn't like that. I don't think so. And if you think your spouse is not the outdoorsy type, you can have a picnic in your garden or in your locality. You don't have to go too far. Just plan something. Let it be your gesture. Whether the man or the woman, doesn't matter now because it's for the both of you. Emotional intimacy, share your deepest fears with your spouse, your dreams, your thoughts with your spouse. In any healthy relationship, these things are meant to be like a way of life. I have a burden. The first person I go to is my husband. Guess what? I will rant. Sometimes you can see that he's with you, he's not with you, he's lost, he's trying to understand, he doesn't know, but at least he's listening, you know? So, emotional closeness is the bedrock of physical intimacy. It's not all about touchy-feely, really, but sometimes you need to connect. Sometimes it could just be a 5 minutes hug. It could be, I don't know, lean on each other, be creative, think of something, you know, that can connect both of you intimately, because you know your spouse better than anybody. Dave Dow, thanks so much for joining. I'm talking today about how to maintain new wine in our marriage relationship, because it's meant to be for life, and life would happen. We forget to do certain things, or we just go living the hustle and bustle of life, and you know, before you know, you're 50 and they're 40 something, and you're wondering, how did we get here? So it has to be intentional. Keeping that new wine in your marriage, to maintain it, it has to be intentional. It has to be deliberate as well. Another thing I'll mention we can do is spiritual connection. We have marriages in different religion, different culture, different society, different beliefs, you know. So if you share religious beliefs, pray together. Okay, whatever your religion is, if you share the same one, it's always good to connect like that. Attend services together. If you have to go to the mosque together and discuss spiritual matters together. You can discuss the Quran, discuss the Bible, whatever it is your faith is. You can always talk about these things together, and it gives you the perspective to which your partner is thinking and all of those things. So this can provide a profound sense of unity and purpose, because sometimes people shy away from talking deep. They feel, I don't want to upset my spouse, or they might not have a clue what I'm thinking about this thing I read in the Bible, or whatever it is. Try one another, okay? And again, values and principles. Align on core values and principles. Align them together. Like they say, a shared foundation helps navigate challenges and strengthen the partnership. So, once upon a time when you were dating, you talk about your values, your principles in life, and it kind of aligns with one another. And then you go into this marriage, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and it's like what you held in value, it's like your spouse is not holding that anymore. Talk about it. What are their values now? Has it changed? Has it improved? Have they added more to it that you're not even aware of? So these things, when you align your core values and principles, it helps you bond some more. Even if it has changed, share with your spouse. Acelia, thanks so much. Dave Dav, thank you so much. So these things help strengthen your relationship. Again, my talk is going to be finishing soon, because I really want to hear from you. How do you think we can maintain new wine in our marriage relationship? Another thing we can do is to support and encourage one another. Okay? Be each other's cheerleader, number one fan. Number one fan. Mary, I see you. A13, I see you. Thank you, A13. I holler back at you. Thanks so much for joining. Be each other's cheerleader. If the whole world is booing your spouse, you'll be the one to cheer them. Do you understand? Because you're the fallback, you're the go-to person, you're the me person, you're the my guy, you're the who's your guy, you're each other's guy, you're each other's person. Every other person outside can be doing all sorts to you, but your spouse will be there unconditionally, will tolerate, will be understanding, will compromise if they had to, will just be there to love you no matter what is going on for you. So be each other, celebrate each other's successes, and support one another through the failures, because that is part of life as well. We will fail, we'll attempt something, we might fail at it. Doesn't mean the end of the world. It might just mean try again. So be there to be supportive. Don't say, I told you so because you didn't listen to me. That's No, it's not the right time to do that. Be supportive. Help them to critically look at what went wrong. How can they do better? Especially when it's something they're passionate about. Your partner should feel like they have a constant source of encouragement in you. Like I said, even if the whole world will not encourage you, not your spouse. Your spouse should be your number one go-to person. Should be the one cheering you up when you feel down and all that. Then compassionate and understanding towards one another. Be kind and empathetic to one another. Understand that everyone has bad days, okay? And that being supportive during tough times is very crucial. I'm having a bad day and I get home, you can see I'm wearing the sad face, and then maybe hubby or whoever, hubby is adding more to it. Oh, he's got a bad day too. Everybody having a bad day. So who's going to encourage the other person? Who's going to say, okay, come, just hold me. Just hug. Let me hug and make you feel better. We need to be there for one another. Be compassionate, be understanding. Sometimes you have to compromise. Sometimes, it's what spouses are meant to do. You have a good news you want to share, but you notice your spouse is not, in that space. You might just hold on and hear them out. What are they going through? And be there for them. And when you feel they're much better, you can share the good news. Not like, because if you share at that time, it'll be like you're rubbing it in. They're having the worst day and you're just excited. You can't be bothered about what they're feeling. News. Not like, because if you share at that time, it'll be like you're rubbing it in. They're having the worst day and you're just excited. You can't be bothered about what they're feeling. I'm going to mention, like I said, there's so many ways we can maintain new wine in our marriage relationship. But I just mentioned a few bits and I hope it's been able to help. But I want to hear from you, the ones I've not mentioned that you're thinking of right now. Hold a thought because I want to hear from you shortly. So another thing or another way we can maintain new wine in our marriage is flexibility and adaptability. What do I mean by this? Embrace change. The me that got married 25 odd years ago is not the me in front of you right now. I have changed in size, in stature, in my mind, intellectually. I've grown, matured, in all spheres. I was a size 6 when I got married. Now, never mind. You can tell I'm not a size 6 anymore. Some people might feel, oh, when I married you, you were figure 8. You were this. After just 4 children, look at you now. You're looking. No. That is not the flexibility I'm talking about. Help your spouse. I don't know, this thing in the society, if you're not this particular size, it's like nobody's looking at you. It's like you're not attractive. It's like you're not beautiful. Who says that? Beauty, they say, is in the eye of the beholder. You are beautiful just the way you are. And sometimes I think we tend to forget our parents, their structure, especially the physical structure. Both your parents are not on the thin side. I don't know, even I'm fortunate in a way, if I may say that. And then when women start having children, I tell you, they take on a new body. It's like they've taken on a new body. Some are fortunate, they remain the way they are. Some are not. After one like this, they are twice their sizes. And that shouldn't be like for the spouse to be saying, oh, you're this big now. Oh, this and that. No. Because even the men do change. Don't let me start with pot bellies. Don't let me start with pot bellies. Don't get me started with that, So this changes is inevitable, it's gonna come. But how are we taking it? Life is full of changes, and so is marriage. Okay? You have to embrace changes together. Okay? It has to be done together if you don't want your spouse to feel left out or to be upset because of the way you're handling things. So whether it's a new job, whether you move to another place, or you're starting a family, this change will come, and embrace it together. I think a couple of weeks ago I was sharing when the woman gives birth, the husband may feel neglected, like every little thing, the baby. People are calling, before they ask how is he, they're asking how is the baby, how is the mother? And it just feels left out. It shouldn't be. Even if everyone is forgetting your husband, you should remember, for the fact that you have a baby does not mean it should just be in a world of his own. You have to learn to balance. I know, especially first baby, it's hard to juggle things together. And that's why you have in-laws. You have your mother or aunties that can help look after the baby while you still spend time together. And if you haven't taken advantage of that, please do. If you have a newborn baby, and you feel you haven't seen your husband in God knows how many months since you've had a baby, call onto those aunties. This is the time you need those aunties. Let them look after this baby whilst you take your husband out, or he takes you out, whichever one. So please, let's embrace whatever change comes our way together, instead of fighting each other, okay? You're both going through it. Only that you cannot react to it in different ways, but try to be supportive towards another. Adapt and grow. Be willing to adapt and grow with your partner, because this person is there till death do you part, till Christ will come, till whatever. I've heard of couples who've been married for 60 years, and I'm like, oh my God, how are they doing it? And they're still holding hands, and they're still teasing one another. Oh my God, so beautiful when you see that. I want to see more of such videos out there, not just the bad, ugly of marriage, So be willing to adapt, be willing to grow with your partner is very crucial. Don't leave your partner behind. Please, always carry them along, because a time will come you might feel you're in this status in the society and you can't show your wife. Some people are kind of embarrassed showing their spouses, at social gatherings. I never can understand that. If you feel they're not up to standard, you bring them up to standard. so they don't feel neglected, okay? Stagnation can lead to discontent and disconnection with your spouse, while adaptability can help to deepen your relationship, and you have this resilient bond that come what may, you're there for one another, you're bonding, you're growing. And we're talking about healthy relationship, because I know a lot of issues happen in marriage relationship, but we'll try to keep it positive right here. So adapt together, grow together, learn together, love each other, and create time for one another, and all of those things. So in my conclusion today, maintaining new wine in your marriage relationship is an ongoing process. It requires dedication. You have to be dedicated to it. You have to be deliberate. Even as I'm giving this talk, I'm searching, self-reflection myself. It's been a while, God will help us. Spending time together shouldn't be a chore. But you find out that it's almost like a chore. You're trying to find a date. When are you free? When am I free? Okay, next month. We'll see. We'll visit it again. Next month comes. Oh, you're busy. I'm busy, and all of that. Sometimes you may have to cancel some engagements just to spend time with one another. Unique Light, thanks for joining. So, maintaining new wine in your marriage, as I said, is an ongoing process, and it requires dedication, it requires love and effort on or from both parties. It's not just one, it's not just on the man, it's not just on the woman, it's on both of you together. By fostering open communication, spending quality time together, growing individually as a couple, showing affection and intimacy, connecting spiritually, whatever your faith is, your religion is, supporting and encouraging each other, and being flexible and adaptable. Don't be rigid. Don't be too rigid. Be flexible. You can keep your marriage vibrant and fulfilling. Like I said, there's a million and one things we can do, but I just had to limit it there because of time. So what is your take on this? I have two questions I want us to really talk about today as I round up the talk. So let's strive to continuously renew and enrich our marriages, ensuring they remain a source of joy, a source of strength, and a source of inspiration to yourself and to others in the community. Mashane, I see you. Thanks for joining. So that is my talk for today. How do I maintain new wine in my marriage? Communication, number one. Communication, affection, emotional, and all of that. Being there, supportive, all of those things I've mentioned. And so my question is, do couples get tired of each other, or is just a third party interfering in their marriage? Do couples get tired of each other, or is just a third party interfering in their marriage? And when I say third party, it could be people, it could be money, it could be career, it could be anything. A third party could be anything. So I want to hear from you. What's your take on that? And the second question is, what can your spouse do to you that will make you call it quits? What can they do to you that will make you say, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't do this anymore. So I want to hear from you. Let's share, let's rub minds with one another.
Promise the future and life.
Thank you, guys.
You
can send an invite. I want to hear from us. Let's rub minds together.
Let the dawn of a new day bring understanding and love. Oh, inside.
Thank you. Mashun, I see you. Thank you, manager. So, do couples get tired of each other, or is it just the third party interfering in their marriages? I want to hear from you. And secondly, what can your spouse do to you that will make you say, you know what, I've had it, I'm not doing anymore, I want to go my way. You go your way, I'll go my way. Karina, thanks for joining. Thank you so much. Let's talk, let's share together tonight as we tap our screen and share to other people. Let's learn tonight because marriage is hard work. It's not a bed of roses. I'm telling you guys, it's not a bed of roses. And for me, this is what I've experienced. Seasons come, seasons go. Let's see who sent an invite. Okay, yeah. Want to hear from you guys. What's your take on this? How can we maintain new wine in our marriage? How can we keep the marriage exciting? How can we keep our marriages going? You know, when one party is tired, what do we do to kind of encourage one another to say, you know what? We are in this together. We have to make it work. Oh, Miss Diva, back up. I see you. Thanks for joining. You're still awake? Yeah. So much. I really, really appreciate your support here. Thank you so much. Mary, you're welcome, manager. I see you. Miss Diva, thanks for joining us tonight here on Insight with FunmiRoyal. I'm not sure how much of what I've said today you've heard, but please feel free to share your submissions as well. The question, I had two questions. If you want to talk about how we can maintain our marriage, new wine, whichever way you can, or if you want to attempt the question, what's your take on that? Do couples get tired of each other, or is just third party interfering in that marriage? And when I say third party, it could be money, it could be people, it could be career, it could be friends, family, or whatever. It could be anything. And then what can your spouse do to you that will make you say, I've had it? So, Diva, let's hear from you because I know it's a bit late where you are now. Jonathan, thanks for joining. Paxin, I see you.
Hi everyone. Hope
Hello.
you guys are doing good. Actually, I've been asking myself the same questions. Why, when people are still dating, they're so much in love, but the moment they get married, after some time, that love just flies through the window
Wow.
and they start behaving like they never loved each other
A
at
simple.
any point. Yeah, they start pretending like they were never in love at all. But then I think what causes that is sometimes people hide their character, and the moment you start staying together, it reaches a point that you can't hide it anymore.
It comes out.
It comes out, and now when it comes out, maybe the other party feels uncomfortable with that character, or it irritates the other person, and out of that silent bitterness, there's this bitterness that someone can just hold against you silently. The person is not happy with what you are doing, how you are behaving.
And they're not
Maybe
talking about it.
he's not talking about it. He's just regretting quietly, silently. He's just regretting silently, saying, I wish I knew. Because, and then, once someone develops such, the feeling starts diminishing slowly by slowly.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it starts diminishing slowly by slowly. That's when you find you are sharing the same bed, but even when your bodies are praising against each other, no one feels anything because
In fact,
someone is carrying bitterness. He's having bitterness against you. So, and the bitterness makes him lack, have no business with you at all. So as time goes by, it becomes so evident that the person can even now tell you on your face, or even move to another room and you are sharing the same room. That's when you find people are married, but they're living like a brother and a sister.
yeah.
They are not together. So I think it's because of this kind of a thing, because someone doesn't want to speak about what is bothering him about the other. And sometimes even the other person doesn't know that he's hurting this other person. Or maybe sometimes the person knows, but they have ego. The person has an ego,
Yeah.
and the ego makes the person not want to look like to be apologetic. The ego makes someone not to want to be apologetic. So the
Wow.
more they keep um, doing that to each other for the longest period,
Mm-hmm.
then and the marriage gets ruined slowly by slowly. The
Yeah.
love between them it starts fading away slowly
Mm-hmm.
by slowly, and that's why people end up behaving, yeah, breaking up, or maybe you are together just because of the kids, but there's no love, and so someone might start cheating on you because of that. So what I feel could be the solution is number one, it's good to take time to know the person you want to
Oh
spend the
yes.
rest of your life
Oh yes,
with.
indeed.
Yeah, take your time to know the person you want to spend the rest of your life with. Know that person properly. Trick him in any ways just to know who he is. There are so many ways of tricking someone just to see how he reacts when he's annoyed, how he reacts when he's happy. Yeah, test the person in any way you can, but in a loving way,
Yeah.
so that the person in a tricky way, you should be tactical. Yeah, you should be
Well, I
tactical.
think, Diva, sorry to cut you. I think it still boils down to communication. Some people, when they're courting, they don't want to talk too much deep talk because they're scared to go there.
Yes, that's another thing as well.
So, because if you're tricking them, they might get offended, So just go straight to the point. What is your fear? Tell me your fear, and I'll tell you what I feel, because
No, but sometimes for me, even if when you ask someone about his fears and maybe the person knows it's something sensitive, the person might not also tell you the exact thing he fears or whatever. So that's why there are ways you can trick someone without the person even knowing you are tricking the person. Yeah, you can just do a stupid thing, or just to see how someone is going to react.
react. Yeah, well.
Yeah, you can just do a silly thing just to see how the person is going to react. So if it's an angry person, the type of angry people who react to a point of even hitting you, you will still know. You will still know the way the person reacts. You will know. So, but I think just as you've said, sometimes we are so much carried away with love until we overlook some of these things.
Yeah.
Sometimes we think we can fix them, sometimes we think we can survive with them, and we forget that the more you get used to somebody, and if he had something you overlooked, that
It's going
thing
to be turned
becomes
off.
now, yeah,
Yeah.
it becomes a bother, because before it used not to be a bother because you are madly in love, you are still new to each other. But the moment now you get used to this person, after starting living with him, you start realizing that the things
But
you are
Eva,
overlooking,
I,
yeah.
I I hear what you're saying, and I really appreciate that. If we go by the topic now, we're talking about marriage, new wine in the marriage. Why, why is it that they now get tired now that they're in the marriage? Because that's our focus today. Because if we're talking about people who are yet to go into marriage, it takes a different dynamic altogether. So we're looking at husband and wife who's been living together, no matter how long it is, but there's an issue. It's like they're getting tired of each other. Is it that they're getting tired of each other, or is it interference, third party interference that is affecting the marriage?
Mm, generally, I wouldn't say, okay, third party can also interfere if you listen to them. But you see, third party only comes in when there's an issue. There's no way out third party will come in.
Yes, indeed. Well said.
Third party only comes in when there's an issue, but before it's normally just the two of you.
Thank
So when the two of you have no issues, there's no way out third party will come in. So if the two of you cannot just agree, or there's something happening between the two of you, then
you.
most of the time people usually say women, when the kids starts coming in, they shift their attention to the
To the children.
to the children and ignore the husband. So the husband will feel ignored or neglected or not taken care of, or lack of attention towards the husband. But then, yes, I know there are ladies who don't know how to divide attention when there's
Yeah, yeah,
a
majority.
newborn baby in the family. They don't know how to divide the attention. They'll
Yeah.
focus on one side and forget the other
Especially
side.
first children, like first child, it's always
Yes.
difficult sometimes, especially when they don't have any experience. Juggling a husband and a newborn baby and themselves is a bit hard, really. Could be hard. Thank you, Mary.
Yeah, but what I usually say, it still affects both of them, because even this husband, when the baby is in the picture, he should also understand, because sometimes you might have a stubborn baby that keeps crying the whole night.
Every day, every night, I know.
Yeah, and
Nana,
your
I
wife
feel
doesn't
you.
sleep. Your wife doesn't sleep. So you see, you should understand when the wife is keeping awake to take care of the kid. But now I think problems can come up when the wife is not under the husband is not understanding,
Mm,
because you find that maybe this woman is working, but at night she doesn't sleep. In the morning she's awake. This man is there. Oh, breakfast. Oh, blah. Maybe this day lady has decided to extend her alarm to a certain point so that at least she can rest a little bit. And this man went to bed early, and when the baby was crying, the man was snoring.
thanks for
And
joining.
the 2 3 hours the wife decides to sleep,
Ah,
the man is waking her up again. Hey, you haven't prepared breakfast, you haven't prepared what I will wear tomorrow, you haven't, and you're like, oh my God,
where does
at
it
least
end?
yeah, why, at least you slept. Me, I only slept, just slept 2 hours, and I'm trying to extend at least so that I can. But
Hmm.
someone will not be that caring, you see. So and you find that maybe the wife now will be looking at it in that angle, but she doesn't speak also.
Mm-hmm.
She's just asking herself, this man cannot see, I slept late, this man, and you know that she keeps piling such things in
Mm,
her heart. So by the time it explodes, it's too late.
yeah, that's true.
It's too late. But third party only comes in when things are out of hand. So most of the time, it's between the two people, it's between the
Mm,
husband and the wife to sort their mess up.
yeah, yeah. Thank you. And I also said that third party could be another person. Third party could be career. Third party could be a friend. Third party could be family. Third party could be anything really. And if I take what you have said now, when things are good, all these third parties, you don't see them. It's when things are not good that this third party they just show up and start meddling in things, so to say, because sometimes it could be a career. When you get together to say I do or I don't or what I do, maybe this lady or the man wasn't in a very serious career. Maybe they're just taking off and all, and nobody knows the future. Some to some level, sometimes you might have an inclination this is going to happen or this is what you want to do, and then as time goes on, you find out that this career this person is pursuing is taking more of their time. They have to go outside for training, they have to do this, and they won't spend much time with you. All of this you might not just be prepared for, and you might not have the understanding, to go with it. And then before you know it's happening, before you know, a whole year is gone, and it's like you barely see your husband, you barely see your wife. This is another third party that can interfere in that marriage bonding, marriage connection. And if they don't know how to manage it well, it's going to be a problem. How long can they last in that kind of relationship? Monica, I see you. Thanks for joining. Kende, I see you. Thank you so much. I see you. Song Clark, thanks for joining. So it's a bit daunting, really. So should we now say couples get tired of each other, or it's just these third parties interfering? And how do they tackle it, or how can they tackle it? If they're in that marriage already, Kende, I see you. They're in the marriage already. Anyways, thank you, Diva. I really appreciate your contribution. Thank you. Mary, thanks for joining. I know you have one or two things to say, so we want to hear from you. And again, what can your spouse do that will make you say, I'm not doing again? I've had it. I don't know if Diva want to touch on it before Mary comes up. What
Yeah,
can your spouse do to you that will make you call it quits?
cheating.
Ah,
That is the only thing that I can't
like
forgive.
I know, apart from cheating.
That is
Oh,
the only thing I can't forgive.
oh, okay. Wow, amazing. That's your submission.
Yeah, and also on the
Yeah.
third party thing, the only thing that I wanted to mention, but it slipped off my mind. It was sometimes people don't tell you. Some men are so cunning. Someone will just know maybe he doesn't want a working class woman, but he won't tell you because maybe he'll realize if he tells you, you'll not accept to marry him, but he wants to marry you by hoods or crooks. So the guy just keeps quiet until when he marries you. Then after some time is when he tells you to stop working and become a full-time mom to the
Oh,
kids.
no.
And then that's the time he starts telling you, oh, me, I never wished to have a working class wife because I want my kids to be taken. And he'll be defending himself with the kids. I want my kids to be taken good care of, and they can only be taken good care of by you being here full time, not
I
with a
know.
nanny or with a what. So you find you guys start arguing on this, and you're like, why didn't you tell me this during dating so that we agree? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, or sometimes someone marries you when you are studying,
Yeah.
or when you have prospects to further your studies. And the moment you tell the person you want to further your studies, the person starts looking at it like you're wasting money. Why do you need me? You already have a degree. Why do you need to do masters? You know?
Like there's an embargo on your studies.
Yeah, he'll be
You
like,
can
why
only go
you?
thus far.
Yeah, so you see, you start arguing over it, and that's the time someone will be, but I'm paying for myself. I've not asked for your money. But this man will be, no, but now you are under me. You are my wife. We
Oh,
should bring this money together and think of what it can do to the family, not just for you as an individual.
that
So
is
you see,
serious. That is really, really serious. And
so
yeah,
when you feel that your dreams are being
mm,
you are being interfered with,
mm.
you start hating someone slowly by slowly, and then that kills just
Thank you,
the
Kingsley.
passion between the two of you.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll find that if you marry someone who supports your dreams, who encourages you, that will be a plus. It will
Mm-hmm.
boost it will
Definitely.
be a plus to that relationship. Yeah, so
Definitely.
that's
Definitely.
how third parties affect marriage.
Thank you so much. You know, it's somehow diva, to be honest with you. It's somehow, but okay. This is the time where I'm going to introduce my puzzle. If you know the answer to the puzzle, you can type it on the screen or send an invite and come and tell us the answer to the puzzle whilst we carry on with the talk. Kingsley, I see you. Thanks for joining. You're welcome to Inside with FunmiRoyal this evening. Thank you so much for joining. So I'm going to come to you, Mary, and I'm coming to you,
Thank
Kingsley.
you very much.
You're welcome. So my puzzle for tonight is a bit trickish, but there's an answer. Queen Esther, I see you. Please send an invite. I want to hear from you. What's your take? How do I maintain new wine in my marriage? How do we maintain it? We want to hear and rub minds together. So the puzzle is, why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? Why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? Manager, if you can type it on the screen, please. Thank you. There's an answer. There's a reason why. Balaji Bugatti, I see you. Thanks for joining. Why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? If you know, Mary, please, you are banned for the next 2 weeks or so. You're banned from answering these questions. I want other people to engage as well. So, oh, the network is really bad on your side. Okay, we'll try. I think I heard you the other time when you greeted. So, Mary, what's your take on this topic, or if you have another angle to it? Let's hear
Oh
you.
my, oh my.
You're welcome. Yeah, the network sometimes, yeah. Why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? Thank you. Food for thought. There's a reason why. If you know the answer, please type it in or come in, send an invite. I'll bring you to the box and you can tell us. Mary, let's hear from you. What's your take on this topic? Do couples get tired of each other, or it's just the third party interfering in their marriage? Third party is friends, family, career, anything really that interferes, maybe. So, what's your take on that, Mary? Let's hear you. The network has dropped her. Okay, if you can try and come back. So Kingsley, thanks for joining. How are you today? If you can unmute, maybe we can hear you. Okay, you'll be back. Okay, because of the network. Oh, come on, network. Please, please, please. Andre, thanks for joining. Thank you for liking the live. Okay, I see people are struggling with their network. And this kind of happens when maybe it's raining or there's so much or many live going on at the same time. I don't know why. So if you can come back in, guys, then I can bring you back up. So as we are talking, let's see if she's back. Yeah. So why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? You're welcome back, Mary.
I don't know what happened. Looks like I was
Yeah,
disconnected.
yeah, it looks so. I can see the red bar on your box, so the network is a bit poorly. Kingsley will be back because of network. All right, thank you, Kingsley. I'll be looking forward to receiving you again. Yes, Mary, over to you. I don't know if you're speaking. I cannot hear you. Jody360, thanks for joining. I was hearing you a few seconds ago, but I don't know what's happened. Are you there, Mary? Let's see. You seem to be
Yeah,
in.
I'm here, but I don't know if you can hear me now.
I can hear you now, yeah. Oh, it's kind of ceased again. I see what you've typed on there, Mary. Say most times it's indeed cause of third parties. Yeah. So
Why
third
is
party.
this network misbehaving now?
Yeah. You always say that when I bring you into the box, it does that. I don't know for whatever reason. Nicest Faith, thanks for joining. Modupe Olua, I see you. Thank you guys for joining. So, but I hear you now. I can hear you now. If you can, maybe squeeze in a word or two. Yeah, I see that. Or maybe if you type it, I can read it out. But I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the point that you raised to do with communication, I always base my things on communication as a key to everything.
Yeah.
So if the communication dies, it brings in the death of the marriage itself. Yeah, as Purple Diva said, it's to do with if someone is just pissed and doesn't want to communicate, that thing starts eating the person up.
Yeah.
If you're eaten up, the mindset itself changes as well.
Oh, yeah,
So
definitely.
if your mindset has changed, you've started looking at your colleague in a different way than the way you used to see him in the beginning. That's where the trouble starts.
Mm-hmm.
Even if the person does something good, but if you have something hidden inside you, you're not happy with something, trust me, whatever he does, whatever she does, it doesn't matter to you.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you base on the communication as key, I think it's better to work on that. If you notice that your friend is not the way you used to be, I I encourage to sit down, discuss what's wrong. Let's go back to where we started. We used to be ABCD. What's going on now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the issue to do with third parties, yeah, it's a big issue as well
Sounds
because
good.
if you look at the studies itself, at first, if you say maybe you had a gap to say someone maybe just had a diploma and the other one had a degree, that gap was not that huge. But when someone goes to master's, PhD, I know of a colleague who was told by the husband when she didn't have a degree, when their husband had his master's,
Yeah.
says, no, we different people, we think differently. I mean, you didn't go to school, so you can't understand what I mean.
Wow. That's not good.
That's already creating a gap.
I
I don't
don't
know if
know.
you can still hear me. It
Yeah,
looks
I
like
can
you're
still, I
frozen from
can
that
still,
side, or it's just me here.
I can, no, I can hear you clearly. Yeah, that's a good example you cited, and that's why we have to be interested in each other's personal growth, career growth, because the person you married has ambition, they have dreams, they have aspiration, and you cannot blackmail them because they're now your spouse to saying to them they should forgo all these dreams, all their goals, and all of that. It's not really ideal. It can actually break that marriage if care is not taken, because I mean, I can't imagine my spouse, telling me I can't be this or I can't be that because I'm married to them. Did we talk about these things before we we said I do? No. Maybe not, I don't know, but I mean, we cannot be selfish. You're going into education, you're building your career, and you met this person. Well, even if they were not huge on top like that, I mean, they have goals to be something someday, and it is well because these things happen. Oftentimes you find out that couples don't want to talk about such issues, but it's affecting them, and there's no way you will not talk about these things, because otherwise you start assuming what is not. Alaji, yeah, I see you. Start assuming, and assumptions are mostly negative. There's no way I want to better myself and my spouse will tell me no, you can't. I mean, I don't know. Is that a healthy relationship? Because if it's one-sided, maybe the male, I don't know, the female is the one always aspiring, achieving goals and all of that, and they leave their spouse behind. It will have its impact, and not a positive one at that. It will have impact. Ruthie, I see you. Thanks for joining. Guys, send an invite. Let me see who is there. Send an invite. Let's hear from you. How do we maintain new wine in our marriage? We need to keep at it. Like I said, it has to be deliberate. Maybe your spouse is the one not wanting to talk. You will have to find other means of reaching out, to them. You have to speak their language so that they can understand where you are at. Sometimes some spouse, they don't want to hear what you have to say because they have a stand, and their stand is that my way or the highway, as some will put it, but it's not meant to be like that. We're supposed to look out for one another. We're supposed to be empathic towards one another. We're supposed to grow together. We're supposed to do a lot of things together as husband and wife. So if you neglect one another, you're not supportive. Fine, you might say, I love you. I love you, but you can't do this. I love you. You can't follow your dreams. I love you. You can't. Love is not everything, really. Is the basis, is the foundation, and all that, but it's not everything. Because to a marriage, there's so many aspects of marriage that if it's not properly dealt with, it will deal with both of you, or it will deal with either of you, whichever way. So thank you so much, Mary, for that. The other aspect I want to ask is, what can your spouse do to you that will make you call it quits? Is there anything like that? Or are you a very, very forgiving person? Please, guys, send an invite. Let's hear your views about this because we want to learn from one another. I don't have all the answers, you know, I want to learn as well. Thank you so much for liking the live. I really, Shona, let's hear from you today. Isaiah, I hope is Isaiah or Isia, I don't know. Yeah, let's hear from you. What's your take on this? How can we put or how can we maintain new wine in our marriage? You know, we want to keep things going. We don't want to be bored. We don't want to be tired of each other because we're not going to replace our spouse, you know. And it has to be a healthy relationship for both parties to enjoy, not endure. So we need to ensure that we are each other's source of joy, source of strength, source of inspiration. Like I said, we're supposed to be each other's cheerleader. If other people are not cheering you, your spouse should be your number one fan. Cheering you, Segerin, I see you. Thanks for joining. So it takes two, really. It takes two. When one party feels the other way, you need to sit down and talk about things. I remember I said you share your thoughts, your feelings, your emotion, your fears, everything, you know, don't hide anything because your spouse, they're not mind readers. If you don't say what is bugging you, you expect them to just know. Sometimes they get lucky, they know. Sometimes they might not just be able to know and they don't even see it. And then, you know, the other party gets offended and be wondering, I've been wearing this sad face, you didn't see me. You know, they've got issues they're dealing with as well. Who knows? But at the end of the day, we're supposed to be each other's keeper, each other's cheerleader, each other's encourager. You know, let's look out for our spouse. Remember, we talked about intimacy, date nights, you know, holding hands, walking, go for a walk with your spouse. And some time ago, there's some silly stuff. I'm sorry to say that, but it's just silly. Some spouses say I can't go out, you know, in a social gathering with my spouse because they're not up to standard or something. You know, some silly talks we talk. If you feel your spouse is not up to standard, what are you doing to bring them up to your standard that, you know, quote and unquote, you claim to want? You know, so we have to invest in each other. We have to invest in each other. It's one thing I want to invest in myself and you're not supporting me. If you cannot invest in me, leave me to invest in myself because I want to be better. I want to be matured. I want to, you know, do better things in life as well. Yeah. Let's see. Thank you so much for liking the live. I really
Now
appreciate
my
it.
network is better.
You say?
Okay, I'm saying my network is now stable. I don't know if it was just me or it was
Yeah,
everyone.
it dropped I think Kingsley as well, but he said it will come back. LRC the King, I see you. Thanks for joining.
Okay. So the point that I was raising to do,
Yeah.
the point that I was raising to do with the friends, which the husband said the different levels.
Yeah.
It came to the very bad situation where the kids could even hear
Right.
that. So to the point that the kids were now regarding the father as the breast and the mom that cannot assist anything. This is a
Wow.
terrible day. The kid had the assignment. The mom goes like, "Okay, let me help you." Guess what the daughter said? Mom, can you assist me with these things? Do you really understand what we learn at school?
Oh my
I'll
goodness.
wait for dad.
Oh, can you see that? Oh, that's such a shame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think it gets bad. It gets bad.
I mean, imagine the child notices that, or the child could even verbalize such words. It's a shame. I bet that woman will really feel sad, will feel bad. Yeah. Sinton, thanks for joining. It's amazing, what happens, or sometimes what goes on in a marriage relationship. Sometimes you hear some some incidents. It will be like, seriously, and you claim you love your spouse. If you claim you love them, this shouldn't even be an issue at all. It shouldn't even come up at all. But whether people grow, I don't know, they grow to wrong. I don't even know how to put it. Even if when you started this relationship, the marriage, you had a different goal. Goals can change, aspirations can change. And then the spouse is like, no, when I met you, this was what you wanted to do, and you must do it. Or it's good to encourage, but let's be flexible, because you never can tell, the gifts and talents we have. Sometimes until age 30, 40, before you even discover new things about you. And you find out that you're even more passionate about that compared to when you were in your 20s. So things can change. And how is your spouse, who's known you for a decade, 2 decades, all of a sudden, they're saying to you that this was not the woman I married, this is not the man I married, and it's like, so we need to be mindful. We need to be mindful, especially when these changes occur. Changes is inevitable, like I say. In life, change will come. If you don't understand it, pause. Rather than fight it, don't fight your spouse. Except when they're changing for the worse. Then you can maybe try to win them back or fight for them or something. But if it's something they're trying to achieve, it's something they're trying to do to better their life, it may be out of context for you because you feel you know them, and you're discouraging them from doing this new thing. Think about it. Sit down and have a talk with your spouse. Why has this come up for you? What do you intend to achieve with it? Ask questions and help them to even understand this thing better themselves. And that's why we're supposed to be there for one another. Deep things that they cannot share with an outsider, they should be able to share with you freely. And again, the bit that I love is, do you play with your spouse? Do you guys play, as in play rough plays like pillow throwing or whatever? Nobody gets too old, to to play with their spouse. Let me see who is there. Um, so all of these things has to be deliberate. Life is tough enough as it is. We need to soften, the landing. Whatever life is throwing at you guys, you need to fight it together, not fight one another. A time will come where it will seem like you're speaking different languages or what have you. You still have to sit down. Pauline, I see you. You still have to sit down and talk about things. Don't shy away from them. And don't just be quiet because you think it's too heavy for you, because there's no other person they will discuss these things with is you, because you're their spouse. And the moment they now go outside, this third party we're talking about, and all their fears, all their thoughts, their dreams, their goals, aspiration, they're sharing with a third party. That third party, that relationship that they're supposed to be bonding with you, their spouse, they're bonding with that third party, and it's usually not a healthy one at that. So we need to be mindful. We need to help each other, help the marriage to grow. Okay, I'm not saying third party cannot come, as long as they're not interfering with what you have. They're there to support you, they're there to help things get better, so you have to be mindful. The third party you invite into that home as well is very crucial. It is very, very crucial. Some people have brought in a mediator who has actually broken them apart, and that's just the truth, because they've chosen the wrong mediator. And some people have brought in mediators who has really helped them to overlook their shortcomings, to forgive one another, to continue to love one another. So there's a lot of work in marriage. Leon Teens, I see you. Thanks for joining. It's not a bed of roses, and it could be a bed of roses if you choose to. There's a saying that as you lay your bed, as you make your bed, so you will lay on it. How are you laying the bed rock of that marriage? Is it with resentment now that it's 12 years, now that it's 15 years, you've grown apart? What are you doing to mend that brokenness? What are you doing? Are you still compassionate towards one another? Are you still understanding? Are you still empathetic towards one another? Do you celebrate one another? You know, sometimes I heard of a spouse who said, every time you come and say, my friend said they saw your picture, my friend said you look beautiful, my friend said, when will you say to me that I look beautiful? The only time this woman will hear compliments is when their friend said to them, oh, I saw your wife's picture, she's beautiful. As little as that is, sometimes we take things for granted. Little stuffs that is not even meant to can actually break up a marriage. It becomes something bigger because we're not addressing it, and we need to be careful with that as well. Women, they like attention. Men, they say is respect, they love. Let's give each other what each other needs. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for liking the live. So I want to hear from you. How do I maintain new wine in my marriage? I really want to hear from us. And thank you so much, Miss Diva, Papa Diva, and Mary A for your contributions. I really, really appreciate it. So once again, my puzzle. Nobody has attempted to answer it. Manager, if you're still there, you can help me bring him back on. My puzzle is, why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? Why wasn't Jesus allowed? It's a funny one, but there's a reason. Why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? Why? Why was he not allowed? Okay, I think Kingsley is back. Somebody's trying to come in. Let's see who else is there. Oh, okay. Mohammed is the one trying. I think it's the network because it's been rolling for a while now just to come into the box. Yes, why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the jury? It wasn't, oh, manager. Why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? Why was he not? I hope you can still hear me. Mary, can you still hear me? I'm seeing some messages up there. Please, I need a thumbs up.
Yeah,
If
I
you
can
can.
hear you, but then the network is very terrible today, tonight.
I think even from my end is beginning to malfunction. Something. I saw some message now about Wi-Fi connection or something. It's usually very strong here. I don't know. It had issues. Try switching between data. I'm using the strongest Wi-Fi that I have. Finest K, thanks for joining Insight tonight. So we've been talking about how to maintain new wine in our relationship. How do we keep our relationship spiced up? How do we keep it healthy? Oh, okay, network problem with you as well. Okay, you can hear me. Thank you so much, manager. So there's so many ways, 1,000 ways. Every spouse is different, and we should avoid kind of comparing our spouses to another friend or another couple that we know. Because most times we're guilty of that. Say, oh, did you not see Mr. So? He did this for the wife. Did you not see Mrs. So? He did that for the wife. Let's be mindful so that we don't hurt each other or we don't offend one another. If you see something good outside, you like it, do it for your spouse. Do it for your spouse and then talk about it. This is what you also would like. Because sometimes, I don't know, we shy away from some minor things that can actually do us good, major good. Let's not shy away from things. This is your spouse we're talking about. You're going to spend the rest of your life with them. So imagine you got married at 30, and if God blesses you with long life, you're going to live till 100. So technically, your wife will be your wife of 70 years. Ha! And the thought of that is like, oh my goodness. But it can happen. It can happen. We've seen people married for 60 years. They don't have two heads. They don't have 10 hands. It's the same. So what are we doing wrong that we're not enjoying that new wine? In maintaining our marriages, we need to address it. If you're listening to me on the FY page right now, and maybe you're going through a rocky time in your marriage, maybe I should ask you, find in your heart to forgive one another, sit together and talk about things. Where did we get it wrong? Why did we find ourselves here? Because sometimes you can't shy away from this talk. It's hard, hard again, very hard talk. But you can't just be roommates with your husband, with your wife. That's not how God designed it to be. When you're hurting, they're hurting. When you're feeling love, they're feeling love. Whatever you're feeling, your spouse should feel with you. And the moment that connection is broken, what is left, especially when these children, they see a lot. They might not be able to challenge you because they're children, or they tend to pretend like they don't know what's happening. One child will come and say, daddy, why is it that you're sleeping in the other room and mommy is sleeping in that room? And then you both will look at each other. You think they don't know? You think you put them to bed and you go to sleep. You wake up before they wake up. These children, the things they know. TJ, Tyro, thank you so much for joining. The things these children know, just because they can't put words to it, doesn't mean they're not aware. So like I said, we have to be, thank you so much. Thank you for the roses. You have to be deliberate. You have to be intentional. Life is hard enough as it is, like I said. How are you making life easier for your spouse? What are you doing to maintaining that new wine in your marriage? It has to be deliberate. It has to be intentional. And I think, was it a couple of weeks back or was it last week, we were talking about marriage and counseling. Sometimes you might feel so overwhelmed. Your partner does not want to do deep talk with you. Get help. Get help. Then there's nothing to be ashamed about. Get help, because this marriage, it just has to work. We have lots of homes breaking up left, right, and center. And like I say, people are getting married too in their numbers. We need to balance this up. If there's issues we need to address, let's address it. If you need the help of a professional, please by all means do so that you can work at that marriage so that it doesn't break down. Because that's why we have like a circle of divorce going around. Some people say, I can't marry you because you're a product of a divorce home. And you'll be wondering, what has that got to do with that? Most of us from Africa, probably from polygamous homes and what have you, we tell ourselves we don't want to go through that. Some don't mind. They carry on that legacy. It's their choice. But some of us that we went through the hard times of a polygamous home, we know that once we go into marriage, this is what we want. This is what we don't want. So we will try hard to make sure it works. Especially when you now even get married to a partner who is also from a broken home. You have the same scars, you're there to kind of cover each other's scars. You have similar experiences, and you now say to yourself like, look, I've been through this when I was growing up. I don't want that in my own home. So please help me help us to make this marriage work. It has to work. So let's put in the effort. We're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. So don't be looking for a perfect wife, a perfect husband. Nobody is perfect, but we will try our best to make things work. We will do better. There's this praying that I'll pray for our children. Our children will be greater than us in every area of life and all of that. So we also should be better than our parents. And if you're from a home that is not a polygamous home, it's just a one man, one wife, a nuclear family like that, thank God for that. What experience have you brought? The positive ones that you're, living in your marriage at the moment. Or are you doing opposite because you never saw your dad shout at your mom? Now you feel you want to try it with your wife. Shout at her and see you're the man or you're the woman or whatever it is. Don't experiment with your spouse, please. Do not experiment with your spouse. So guys, my puzzle, nobody has attempted it. I will be forced to bring it back next week. Otherwise, I would have to answer it, and I'll take my donuts and my 2 ice cream and I'll enjoy for the evening. Popo Diva, any clues? Why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? There's a reason why they didn't allow Jesus into the jewelry shops. Why? Canaan, I see you. Thank you so much for joining. Oga Vision, I see you. We still have a bit of time. We can talk about this. Let me see if my brother's available tonight, because I see maybe some people where they are, the time difference. Some probably are just on their way home. I really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much. If you're on the FY page, please come in. Let's hear from you. How do I maintain new wine in my marriage? I want to hear from you. TJ Dyro, thanks for joining. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well.
Oh, this is a big, big surprise. Yay. How has your day been?
It's been really good. um, it's raining now here.
Oh, I'm not sure. I can't feel it or I can't hear it, but maybe because I'm doing my life right now. So I don't know what your submission is, your take is. I ask questions after the talk. So there are two questions. I don't know if you want to attempt them or you have something about the topic you want to say. So the first question is, do couples get tired of each other, or is just a third party interfering in that marriage? And when I say third party, it could be money, it could be career, it could be friends, family, anything third party. Okay. And the second question is, what can your spouse do to you that will make you call it quits? Is there anything like that? So it's up to you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, the first one, which has to do with why do I think you just said why do
Do
couples take
couples get
themselves for
tired
granted?
of each other or
Tired of them, tired of each other.
mm,
What there are a number of reasons why that could be. Number one could be, if you've got abuse in a marriage ongoing,
mm,
a partner is abusing the other one, they get tired. Number two is um, just taking each other for granted sometimes.
mm, mm.
You've been around each other for so long,
Yeah, you've
and
grown
then
up
you just take
together.
each other for granted. That okay, that person, your couple, or I mean your spouse is always gonna be around,
Mm-hmm.
and so you stop trying to
Mm.
spice things up. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes, the grass looks greener on the other side,
But
and
doesn't mean
people
it is.
it doesn't mean it is. You have to mow your own lawn and water your own lawn.
Yeah, yeah,
But
true,
but but
true
off,
that.
but often the time, I think it's usually around two main things, right? Number one is abuse. Number two is
Yeah,
you know just taking each other for granted.
getting
You
Instagram.
stop trying when you were dating.
Mm.
You're always excited. There's an air of excitement about seeing each other, about surprising each other,
Mm-hmm.
about trying your best to
Secret
please.
surprises.
Secret surprises, trying your
Oh,
best to please one another, and sometimes it's also because kids have now come into the equation. You're busy.
ah,
Your lifestyle could also be another thing. The type of
mm,
work you do. All these things tend to impact you
yeah,
know a marriage relationship where if you're not observant enough, they just have a way of just creeping in over time.
yeah.
And what you then find is that you wake up one day and you look around, you're like, how did you find yourself here?
Feel like you're
But
living with a stranger.
like you're living with a stranger.
Mm,
Some people I know, once they start to have children, the children become priority.
yeah.
And on the surface that seems like a very good reason,
Mm,
that, oh, we're prioritizing, the kids come first.
mm.
But what I always say to couples is, your kids are gonna leave on one day, and then
Oh,
you're gonna have
definitely,
a
definitely.
rude awakening. That
Very, very. Yes.
you know so I think those are the main reasons, right? You always have to spice up your relationship. You have to put in a bit of effort and almost assume that the person you're with is is a new person every day. There are new things to discover about them. The thing about human nature is once you become predictable and
Mm,
everything around you becomes predictable, you start to get a bit bored,
yeah, that's
right?
true. Yeah.
Once you find that before your couple says something like, oh, I know what you're completing their statements. You can
Uh,
predict what they're gonna wear the next day. So it's always good to try and spice things up. You know,
yeah,
and
you
it's
have to
easier
be
said than done.
considerate. I know. Tell me about it. I was sharing the other time. I said, I think me and Hobby said, this year, every month we'll go out, we'll do this. We started January, February, by March, everybody had forgotten. Everybody had forgotten what to do. So you have to be deliberate, and God will help us, really.
Yes, I mean, what would you say?
Mm.
And I'm not intentionally throwing questions. I mean,
No,
what
no,
would
it's
you say
fine.
are things that couples could do
Mm.
to uh to ensure that they don't take each other for granted? I mean, what's your take as a relationship expert?
The thing is, like I said, change is inevitable.
Mm,
And I said, you have to do things deliberately, intentionally. And if you're the type that got married maybe a little bit younger, there's tendency that you will grow into each other and you will see some things you haven't seen before. Yeah, you will see those things. So don't go saying, when I married you, we're not like this, da da da. This is part of the change you have to embrace. Okay, my people will say, see finish. We should not see see finish. No, there's nothing so called. And like I said, if it's boring, it's a deep talk that couples may want to shy away from. Sit down, and sometimes it depends on your spouse. Some spouse they'll respond well to a text. You might start off with a text and say, guess what, I'm missing when we used to do this or da 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 whatever. And of course, there's no spouse that will read that, that will not chuckle or that will not smile. And then they might even actually come to meet you. So it depends on your spouse, if that's how you want to start. But at the end of the day, you have to sit down and talk about things. This is what I've observed. I might be wrong, but this is my observation. Because, truth be told, I was saying to people that 25 odd years, sometimes I look back, I'm like, yay, 25 years, how did I get here? So
wow.
sometimes it's challenging, I must say. Sometimes I don't want to see them, they are upsetting me or whatever. And then the next minute, I'm like, oh my God, it's like I'm in love all over again. So it's ups and downs. One thing I'll say to couple is when the chips are down, that is not the time to start laying blames or pointing fingers. Please be empathetic. I'll keep saying that. Be empathetic towards one another. And again, every couple is different. This might work for couple A, it might not work for couple B. How well do you know your spouse? Your spouse might just be the type that when things are so hot, heated up, and all that, all you have to do is make a cup of tea for them, and they've forgiven you. And another couple, you might really, really try harder than that. So it depends on your spouse. Like we're supposed to be rediscovering each other every time, every season. If you think you know them all, you know everything about them, I tell you, you do not. Even I think the
That's
quiet
right.
storms, there will always be something new. There will always be something different. You'll be noticing about your spouse for the last few months. They've been this way or they've been that way or something. And I'll share another experience with you. Like, at least you know me to a level. One time like that, I think mid last year, I was just cranky. I was just upset for no reason. Even within me, I'm like, Fumi, what's wrong? Why are you like this? Anything like this. It just say, oh, are you eating that? I'm like, what is your business? And I'm like, what on earth is going on? And guess what? When age is coming knocking on your door, I never thought, for ladies, you think menopause is 10,000 years away. I didn't know until I had to see the doctor. I said, within me, I did not want to be angry. but I was just. So I didn't understand. Imagine my husband too, he doesn't understand, and we're just fighting each
That's
other.
right.
Danny G, thanks for joining. So until I had to, the doctor now said, okay, at this age, expect this. Women, it varies, this and that, but expect this, expect that. Before now, I now know that when I was feeling that, it happens again and wanted to, I said, for me, you know what, it's okay, it's not to just be quiet. So I was able to deal with it. And we even laughed about it. I said, can you imagine? I have to be on top of this thing. It will not be on top of me. So things like that, I mean, it's a serious thing because I can't begin to tell you the faces, the changes I've been noticing. And people don't get deceived by this face, I'm telling you. So,
You
what
know,
is exactly what is happening with your spouse? Are you trying to understand or you're running away from whatever it is?
you also make a very valid point as you were speaking. At times, what people generally and couples and human beings generally forget is that we have seasons in our lives, right?
Oh, yes.
We have all sorts of seasons. You have a season when you're born, you're growing up, you have no care in the world. You have a season when you go through school, you
Yeah.
eventually get married, and even within the marriage, there are seasons. There are the early
Oh,
years,
yes. Oh, yes.
excitement, everything
Yeah,
is
the
booming. You're like,
butterflies.
ooh,
Yeah.
butterflies, you're feeding each other with cake, you're jumping about the
I
place. It's just like
know.
very romantic. And then, you've got the season when the children come into your lives, and if you're not observant
Yeah.
of the seasons you're in, and these are just seasons that happen
Oh,
to
Jenny
you,
G.
but they're also they're also things that you go through internally, right?
Oh, yeah.
You talked about menopause, for example. People are going through
Yeah.
different stages as an individual.
Oh, yeah.
Even within the marriage, as an
Mm-hmm.
individual, you're changing, you're going through a journey.
Yeah.
And to your point, this is why it's really important for couples to talk and
Yeah.
communicate,
Yeah.
and communicate their feelings, communicate
Yeah. Thoughts. Yeah.
what the thoughts, what they're going through, and all that. The
Yeah.
other thing is, I think communication is half the work.
It was
Yeah,
number one on my top. Always communication. There is no two ways about it. In the good times, talk about it. In the bad times, in
that's
the
right.
ugly times, talk. In the good times too, talk about it. Be open and
Be-
honest.
yeah, because there's an assumption that you're married to a psychic, and
Mm.
they should be able to tell what you're thinking all the
Like they're
time.
mind
Oh, now you've been married
readers.
for me for 20 years. You should know that I don't like this thing. You should know that I've been thinking this. You should know. You should know. But your spouse is not psychic.
No, they're not
And if they
mind
are, please
readers.
give me their number.
No, no, they're not
I
mind
can read
readers.
minds.
No.
They're not psychic. So it's what you communicate that
Mhm.
people understand. And
Yeah.
and somebody once said to me that communication isn't communication until the other person understands your original intent
Yeah. Yeah.
of making the approach. So I
That's
think
true.
that does help.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that contribution. Honestly, very insightful. As we grow older, changes will come. How are we embracing that change in each other instead of fighting? Because sometimes we fight each other instead of fighting that thing, that change, so to say. Thank you so much, CJ, for that contribution. Jenny G, what a surprise. It's like everyone is just surprising me tonight because I know the time is really well spent. Jenny, my dear sister, is it Bonui or what's good evening? How do I say before I go and say what I'm not meant to say? How are you, Jenny? Nice to have you here. Can you speak? Actually, I should ask. Can you speak where you are, Jenny, if you want to unmute?
Okay.
Bonsoir.
Yeah.
Okay, bonsoir. What did
Hi.
I say, Bonui?
Bon is good night.
Oh, okay, well, I was nearly
If you
there.
say bon then I'm logging off like good
Ah,
night.
okay. Thank you so much. It's been a while. How are you?
I'm great. Just been
Oh,
busy with family
I
and
can
work.
imagine.
So I've been off TikTok for quite a while.
Oh.
I can't play God, so
Yeah, we thank God. We thank God still. Thanks for
of
joining. I really
course.
appreciate that. I don't know
You're
how
welcome.
much you've heard and what's your submission, really. Let's hear from you.
I didn't quite hear everything that is being said. I just had when the other man, who gentleman who finished speaking was speaking. What is the
Okay.
topic about?
So I'll tell you to make it easier. The topic is how do I maintain new wine in my marriage? And I ask questions after the talk. So maybe I should throw the question to you as well. So the
Okay.
question is, do couples get tired of each other, or is just the third party interfering in that marriage? And when I say third party, it could be friends, family, career, money, it could be anything really. And then the second question is, what can your spouse do to you that will make you call it quits?
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's very that's very interesting. You know how I like being transparent and honest, and on this app, me being very bold and real about things that I think sometimes doesn't come off great to certain people.
Well, it doesn't matter. Well, what can
Regardless, if you allow me to, it's like, it's a platform, on my own platform. When I have host, I stay as honest as I can,
yeah,
right?
whole idea.
So what can you I think it varies, right? I do think that sometimes couples can get tired of each other without any interference of a third party. But it is true that when you mention third party, for instance, things like finances
Yeah.
and having children can
Mm,
stress couples,
yeah, that's
and then lead relationship can become like a little bit cracky,
true. Yeah.
because when you have children, you have so much stress
Tell me
and
about
to
it.
take care of. Exactly, especially for those who live in the Western world where you have less help,
Mm-hmm.
minimal assistant
Yeah.
when it comes to house chores or helping you with the children.
Yeah.
So, and then when you're in a family where you have two people working that providing,
Mm,
then the stress is extremely difficult because you have a mom who is tired of raising kids and then going to work providing, and then you have and it's extremely difficult, and you have a dad who is trying to also work, and there is, oh, let's split and share chores in the home and everything.
yeah.
And most of the time, I'm a little bit traditional, right? So most of the time these things are not meant for many, many men to do, not because they're dumb, no, because of the way we are created.
Yeah.
Women can handle a lot of many, many tasks at the same time
Mm-hmm.
because we are built for it. A man will get confused. Just like I said, man could go and be under the rain, walk for hours, and his body wouldn't break down. And if a woman does that, her body breaks down and she resists, she becomes mean, she becomes cold, she becomes defensive because of stress. And this can lead to couple, like, instead of looking at themselves as a family and one union, they are dumping their trauma and stress on each other, and that could
Maybe
lead
I
to
see.
cracking relationship and breaking it down.
Yeah.
So stress, money is a very big factor, when couples are like, okay, I'm done. And if it's if you're doing like dealing with a couple that lack emotional maturity
Yeah.
and low tolerance
Mm,
of the other person's shortcoming or flaw,
yeah.
then there is a problem. It's gonna happen one day or the other. Then I think there are also in a way where people get bored of each other because they are no longer spicing the relationship. They are no longer
Yeah.
trying to seduce each other. They don't have date nights. They become too comfortable. The woman is no longer looking, you know, cute. The man is becoming too comfortable, and then they see other people outside who are, they're not seeing the whole, they're seeing like 20% when that person is in their best behavior or in their best. And then people start thinking that what they are seeing outside is far better than what they're seeing in the home. And then these things happen. I think it's about being self-conscious,
Yeah.
being very communicative, and I believe in having conversation with your spouse if you notice something. And I also believe in people listening to one another, trying. If someone would tell me, oh, I don't like what you're doing, I don't like this, I don't like that, I will pay attention and I will also share my own. So it's just about That's what I think.
Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you for that contribution. So I'm just about to round up because I finish at 9. So let me throw you under the bus, as they say. Do you know what the palm of your husband feels like? Is it soft? Is it hard? Jenny. It sounds funny.
Of
When
course, I do. He has a very, very soft palm like a baby. And
okay.
that is because he does not work in an environment that, in that kind of roughen a man's hand. He works inside the office with computer and systems. Again, the man doesn't do any house chore. So,
I was gonna say if they
It
blind
doesn't
if
hold. It
they
doesn't hold a broom.
I
It
see.
doesn't hold a vacuum cleaner. So do I blame him? For being honest,
I was gonna say,
sometimes, yeah.
Jenny, if you were blindfolded and they bring like three guys, you have to touch their palm to recognize your husband. Do you think you'll pass?
Of course, I will pass because I will
Oh,
just touch the edge of his thumb.
oh,
Yeah. After how many years? Of course.
oh, okay. That's good. That's good to hear because it's one of the things I mentioned: touching, kissing,
Oh, I see where you're
hugging.
going with that. Okay, I didn't even see that. Oh, wow, that was a nice trick.
Exactly. Those are things some people don't know because they're not that intimate. They're like everybody just doing their thing and they come, sleep, go, and all of that. So we need
Hmm.
to create time for one another, and thank you so much for your contribution. I bet,
Okay.
I bet if your husband is listening now, he'll be so proud of you. So well done.
It's actually
Oh,
around, so.
yeah, okay. Thank you so much for the surprise today. I really, really appreciate you. And
My pleasure.
yeah, thank
If
you,
I see you
TJ.
anytime and I'm free, I will come up, of course,
Please,
because I like
anytime.
your programs and I like
Thank
your
you.
topics.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So, guys, this is where I draw the curtain. But I noticed nobody got my puzzle. I always bring in a puzzle so we can laugh a bit. And I'll leave the puzzle with us. Maybe till next week, Thursday. You guys can go and Google it or find the answer. Otherwise, I will eat my donut myself. So I'll leave you with the puzzle. And my puzzle is, why wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? Why
Hmm.
wasn't Jesus allowed at any of the Jerusalem jewelry shops? There's a reason why. Or do you want to try, Jenny, TJ? Any takers before I go?
I will have to make some research. I don't know.
Okay, no worries. I'll bring it back next week. And if you get it, just to relax for the evening, I'll give you two a donut and two ice cream just to relax for the evening. So food for thought.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Mhm.
much, guys. Thank you to all the gifters, people who've liked the live, shared the live. Thank you so much for being part of Inside with Fumi Royal today. Please put new wine deliberately in your relationship, your marriage relationship. Go and hug that husband, go and hug that wife. Life is too short, guys. We have to make it work. We need to get it right for the sake of our children. Let's be good examples in our marriages for our children. And please stop avoiding communication. We have to talk about it. Please, please find the right time, the best time to talk to your spouse, and hopefully they might just understand you. Till I come your way on Monday, when I'll be bringing our random talks and finding strategies to coping. I remain yours truly, Fumi Royal. Do enjoy the evening and take care. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you. Miss Diva, thank you. I don't know if you've left off, but thank you for joining. Just Bookie, thanks for joining. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Have a nice night.